Hi, my name is Arish Karbanda. I'm a high school student at Dubai College, and today I'll be showcasing my project called ClimatEd. Let me go ahead and share my screen now. So this is the interface for ClimatEd. It's essentially an educational climate game that I built a year ago. The reason behind building it is I actually run my school's high school sustainability club, and I felt there was a lack of educational resources to teach sustainability education in an effective way. For example, most of our sessions would be kind of lectures and debates and guest speakers, but I came across this video game online, the Financial Times climate game, and Fish Banks. And these educational games showed me the importance of kind of adopting climate education games as a way of teaching climate topics to youth. So I'm going to go ahead and demo the game for you now. You start off and you can just enter your name. Currently, I'm working on a login system at the moment, but right now it's all built into the user's browser and they can actually access it themselves. So once I start the game, you'll have to select a mode. I'll go ahead with advanced. And then this is actually now the premise of the game. You can probably read the objectives here, but essentially you have your campus, and in this game you take on the role of the headmaster of a school. In your role, you basically have access to all these different parts of the campus, and your goal is to try and take actions to make your school more sustainable. Your impact is kind of monitored over here in this bar, and these are your resources. You have a certain amount of money. Since I selected the advanced mode, I only have 50 money. But whenever you run out of money, you can actually complete quizzes and educational climate tasks to then earn more money. Effort is finite, though. Once you run out of effort, the game ends. And knowledge is something that unlocks more actions. So, for instance, the higher your knowledge is, maybe more actions that weren't available to you before become available now. Every three actions, you have a term, and every once in a few terms, there'll be some sort of random event that happens that could affect your resources. Say you get more money from the government, or your effort points go up or down as well. That's essentially the premise of the game. And now I can just kind of play a little bit of it and demo it to you. So I can start off by picking a certain part of the campus and, investing my resources there. So say I want to go ahead with food, and then I can look at the kitchen and dining hall. These are currently all the actions that are available to me. These icons show how they'll affect my resources. So for instance, if I want to introduce meatless Mondays, that would cost me three money, three effort, and it would also increase my impact score by 2%. So, I mean, again, this is another interactive way to show how this would affect your resources. I might not go ahead with that. Let me have a look at my other options as well and kind of evaluate what I have. Personally, I think that this might be a very good option. Remove all meat items because you only lose one effort, but you get three impacts. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. Maybe then we can continue with a few more ideas. I'm gonna evaluate these in the waste section of the campus. Maybe I can go ahead and provide staff with reusable tote bags. I'm going to go ahead and click some buttons quickly now to show you how the game progresses. But in an actual kind of teaching setting, of course, you would take more time to work through the game. Now, the library is very interesting because if you take actions here, these will impact your knowledge and your knowledge will go up. So, for instance, I could complete a sustainability certification course and you can see my knowledge will increase to 70. That means next time when I go on the actions at other parts of the campus, I will have new actions available to me that weren't actually available before. And you'll be able to see that later on. As you can see, you've got some new tasks. So when we go back to the campus now, we need to look for the newly unlocked badge. It seems like there's nothing newly unlocked here. But over here, we can install an atmospheric water dispenser, which has been newly unlocked. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, if I go to the electrical building, there's nothing newly unlocked here. But in the waste disposal area, we can offer edible cutlery for canteen food, which has also been newly unlocked. Maybe I can go and gather some more knowledge points again. Now this increases my knowledge to 90 points. So again, I've got new tasks that have been unlocked. Not in the food section, but maybe not in the water section either. But over here in the transport section, I've got this new thing that I can unlock. Oh, so this is an example of a random event. They happen every few terms, as I mentioned at the start of the video. Now I've basically just got extra money, so my money's gone back up to 32. I'm going to continue taking a few more actions and show you what happens when I actually run out of money. As you can see, I've gotten above 25% campus impact, so now I win my first badge, which is Sustainability Starter. Once you get to 50%, 25%, 75%, you also win badges that are meant to motivate you to go further. As you can see, I'm not seeing any more tasks pop up. The reason being my money is very low, so I can't actually afford anything new. At this point in the game, we would advise players to go to your educational portal. Once you go to your educational portal, you will have these climate knowledge quizzes that you can complete. Essentially, there are questions here where you would have to read through them and answer the questions. So human activities is the primary cause of almost all of the increases in greenhouse gas emissions for the last 150 years. What percent of global greenhouse gas emissions are caused by agriculture? So off the top of my head, I believe that's 23. So I go ahead. That seems to be correct. So now if I go back to my portal, my money's gone up from 2 to 52. So every time you get a question correct, you get 50 extra money. That means that every time you run out of money, you can go to your educational portal and do these type of quizzes and get more money. In total, currently there are 20 different quizzes built into the game, and I'm still working to expand that even more. As you can see, all the actions have now come back on my drop down because I can afford them again. Okay, this is another random event, but now a negative random event. Basically, the school has failed a ministry inspection, so I've lost some of our budget. Again, now that I'm running low on money, I can go back to the educational portal and I'll now have a new question, which I can again answer. Um, I think this is a good point to now stop the demo, and this is a really good place to talk a little bit more about the game. I essentially view this game as some sort of educational app that we can roll out in schools. Currently, I'm working with 6 schools in Dubai to implement this app in their educational curriculum. I've already launched it at my own high school and implemented it in our sustainability club and spoke with members about the experiences. And I'm looking forward to actually scale this into a full startup and bring it to other schools across Dubai. The goal is that this game can be played in some sort of climate educational lesson. The students could learn valuable skills about stuff like earth sciences and transportation and greenhouse gas emissions from the educational portal, while also learning how you need to manage resources sustainably through this game. Thank you very much for your time and listening to this demo of ClimatEd.